Welcome back, Shalligators, and welcome back, Billie Eilish stans. Billie Goats? I keep trying to make that happen. I do. What do you guys call yourself? Eyelash extensions? Eyelash extension? I think I come up with the same one every time, and I just never have you guys embrace it, and it's hurting me. That's fine. We're going to talk about Billie's crazy new look, her extreme style departure from her, I think we can call it the baggy years, like the Janko type jeans and the neon hair, which it was a wig. Did you guys know that? It was a wig the whole time. It's crazy. And not just that, but the controversy over her new look. Is she selling out? Is she betraying her fans by switching up her look, by showing her body? Whereas before she was always like, I don't want to show my body. I have a tattoo. You're never going to see it. I don't want people to judge my body. And now it looks like she's doing exactly that. She's turning herself into this little sex pot. Is she kind of like a traitor to the body positivity revolution? So we're going to break down all of that. I'm going to share my feelings on this. And more than that, we're going to talk about how to deal with hate. How to deal with people having really strong opinions about how you're living your life, or a change that you're making, or something that you were involved in that you don't want to be involved in anymore. I'm going to give you some concrete steps to puzzle through it in your mind, to get more comfortable, and some easy ways to listen to your own self and your own alignment in the small little ways, so that when the big things come along, you're already prepared. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys about the Shalligator Getaway. I've partnered with influencer travel company Trend 45 for a trip to Tulum, Mexico. They're doing 3 weeks of these trips, so there's 2 weeks before this, but I am going on the June 27th adventure until July 2nd. So if you want to come get away with me, we're going to be doing some Shalligator workshops just for my fans who attend. And let me tell you about this trip. So this is what an influencer trip kind of is. And you don't need to be an influencer to go. You don't even need to want to be one. It can just be a super fun, dope vacation. The other trips I've been on, it's been about half and half. Some people are just they're enjoying a vacation. But what Trend does is they plan a really awesome trip, a bunch of excursions. We have this whole jungle hotel fully booked out, private chef, everything's included. And photographers. We bring 10 photographers so that if you are trying to strike up a social media career, you want to get even just some cool pics of vacation, because you go on vacation, you ask the bartender to take a pic and it's blurry and they're there you go. And you're okay. This, you can actually take some cool outfits, have some really neat aesthetic shots. I went to the south of France with Trend 45 last year, pre-pandemic, and got some amazing, really cool looks just for fun, just for me, showing off some brands. So if you're into that, if you just want to have a travel, if you just want to come hang out with me, come on down, click the link in the bio. There's a limited amount of space, but I hope you guys come because I would love to see you. So let's talk Billie. So like I said, she's made this crazy style departure from looking like some sort of roadie for Limp Bizkit in the late 1990s to what I call World War II spy chic. She's in these custom corsets and she got the boobs out. Is that a bruise? I just noticed that. It was quite a weekend. I'm so sorry. She's got her body out, her hair is blonde, her makeup's different, everything is completely different. And some critics, but also some of her fans, and I think that that's the part that's hurting her the most and it's affecting her the most, are people she's a sellout and she was always the girl who didn't feel like she needed to sexualize her body and blah, 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 blah. Let me correct some of these headlines. Can I just bring out my red pen and correct some of these headlines? Instead of Billie Eilish body positivity traitor, Billie Eilish sellout, let me just correct that to, let's see, adult woman changes her clothes. Adult woman puts on different outfit. Subheadline, to suit her mood. No, but she changed, her whole persona. No, she changed her clothes. And when we change our clothes, I learned this around age 2.5, we change how we look and we change the message we're giving to the world. That's literally what fashion is. And I am so sorry. Sincere apologies to Billie fans if you're just now getting that memo. If you're getting the memo at today years old that to change your clothes is a thing, Because I'm sure you guys have never changed your clothes. You're still wearing what? Like that same onesie you wore when you came home from the hospital after being born? Oh, you're not? Oh. Oh, well then probably like the Camp Anawana shirt from 4th grade. Oh, no, you don't. You got rid of that and you have different style. Well, then you're probably still wearing the exact same type of outfits you wore 5 years ago. Because Billie's been famous for what, like 5 years? We'll say 3. Are you still wearing the exact same things you wore 3 years ago? Or have you been allowed to, like, I don't know, dress up for prom or go on a date? Or do you have like clothes that you wear to work and then clothes you wear with your friends? You do. Whoa. And do you think you're like entitled to do that? You think you can just like wear whatever you want? You think you're just like sovereign over your own body and style? Who told you that? This is how you people sound. This is how you people sound when you criticize Billie for doing what a young person should do, what any person should do: grow, experiment, live a multi-dimensional life. And some people are like, oh, so is Billie just gonna like constantly reinvent herself? Yeah, motherfucker, she might. She might actually change her clothes again. Crazy how clothes work. They come off. They come off. Yeah. No, they're not actually, they're not soldered on. No, they come off just like yours do. And just like you have the right to cut your hair, she does too. But of course, the people saying this, they don't feel like they have that right. And so to see someone doing the things they want to be doing, experimenting, being sexual, embracing her sexuality, getting those titties out, reinventing herself, leaving behind a version of herself that either doesn't serve her anymore, and it's not super authentic, or she just wants to try something new. Hey, honey, if you don't feel like you have that freedom, first of all, you do. You just got to grow the balls to do it. And second of all, it's not Billie's fault. So don't foist this on her. That's not feminism. That's not fandom. And that's not who we are here in the Shallontourage. One of the things that clinched it for me to move from New York City, where I was like heels, step and repeat, fashion week, it girl, big city chick, to Montana, was my mom saying, you know, there's so many ways to live one life. And you have really lived in New York. You've done everything there. And I have. I've been to every event. I've been to the Met Gala. I've been to everything. I was a reporter there, so I didn't go inside. But it was closer than most people get. And I'm like, yeah, there's so many ways to live one life. And there's so many different dimensions of myself that I want to explore. And when I look back on my life in college, like in high school, I was super preppy good girl, bows in my hair. I get to college, I was like rough and tough ROTC, but also like rodeo chick, but also sorority girl. And that set the stage for me being like, I am so many different bitches in one. Get to New York, I'm an emo scene queen. I'm a socialite. I'm preppy again. I'm gothy. Like, I allowed myself that freedom, right? This is the point of being a woman. This is the point of being a woman. We touched on this when we covered Cardi B's song WAP when it came out, like, what was it, last summer or something? I don't know, time's a flat circle, right? And there was like, oh, this controversy, like it's anti-feminism, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's a song, bro. It's just, dude, it's a song. And yeah, we need the Adeles, like the classy and like serious, you know, just intellectual. We need those Adeles, but we need the Cardis who's like, I'm gonna pop my pussy. Because some days we gotta pop a pussy. What is popping a pussy? What is that? It sounds like, you know, when you do that, you make that popping sound. I don't want someone doing that to me. That sounds uncomfortable. What does it mean? It doesn't matter. But like some days you're like, we're gonna go out and get wasted at brunch. You're gonna text Brad. I'm gonna text James. We're all gonna be sluts tonight. Casual sex Saturday, right? And then some days it's like, I'm going to watch my Keira Knightley period pieces. I'm going to read the Shall Literature Book Club selections, pick up Essentialism. We're going to do a video on it this weekend. And we're going to be intellectual. And you know what? We have that right. That is what feminism is. That's what feminism is. It's, I can be whoever I want. I have the freedom to do that. And I want women to be whoever they want. I want Cardi to be sitting down with Bernie Sanders one day, popping a pussy the next. I want Adele to be singing a ballad and then like wearing a sexy little black dress if she feels like it. Who really cares? This is the big question. Does Billie Eilish's outfit really affect you? If the answer is yes, girl, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. Now, the next video I'm gonna do, it's gonna come out tomorrow, is a psychological breakdown of celebrity stans. And a stan is a portmanteau of stalker and fan, like, so really intense fans. And there's been studies done on this, and they came up with like a spectrum of behavior from healthy, normal celebrity interaction, you know, like what, oh, I like so-and-so, yeah, whatever, to very unhealthy, to stans, obsessive stans. And the people, I don't want to give it away, but the people who are at that far end of the spectrum where they're like obsessed, the people who are like, Billie's a traitor, these people are associated with dissociative personalities, high anxiety, low sociability, troublesomeness, impulsivity. I don't think that's what you are, though. I've got faith in you. And we're going to dismantle this. Now, I can't help the celebrity stands in this video. We're going to try next video, okay? But in this one, we're going to talk about how to dismantle that need for approval. So the Billie fans who are criticizing her for like selling out, you're a traitor, honey, y'all got a lot of issues, okay? And Billie actually didn't create any of them. And you cannot foist that upon Billie or Demi or Selena or Shallon or Shawn Mendes or whoever to fix those issues. Your triggers are your problem. This is a vibe that's going to come up, right? Because we're going to use this in a good way later. But Billie seemed to anticipate this because she, pretty much her whole interview with British Vogue was about like, what are people going to say? Like she was trying to get out in front of it. So she's like, oh, suddenly you're a hypocrite if you want to show your skin. You're easy and you're a slut and you're a whore. If I am, then I'm proud. Me and all the girls are hoes and fuck it, you know? Let's turn it around and be empowered in that. Showing your body, showing your skin or not should not take any respect away from you. This girl is so wise beyond her years. She is. I love her. And one of you guys made such an excellent point. I'm so sorry. I can't remember who it was, but you're like, you know, she waited until she was an adult. She's 19. We think of her as like so young, but like she's 19. And so she's an adult by a year or so. She waited until she was an adult to like not sexualize herself, but even if that's what she's doing, okay, she's a young woman who decides to be sexy and enjoy sex and enjoy her body. Why is that a bad thing? Look I got my titties out today because I like them. I'm having a good boob day, right? I'm like, you guys look great. Hi, the Swedish twins, Helga and Olga. And some days I'm like turtleneck mode, you know, I'm creeping around in my hunting camo. And it's, again, this is our right as women, but we have to take that freedom. Power always must be taken. If we're waiting for the patriarchy, or not even the fucking patriarchy, for that skank Kelsey who's like cheer captain to approve of our choices, we're going to be waiting a very, very long time. And it's going to be a miserable wait the entire time. So Billie seems to have already realized this, and she's turning whatever negatives people are going to say about her into a positive. Okay, I'm a hoe. Whoa, I'm a hoe. Whoa. When you agree with your haters, they have nothing else to say. Sure, bro. Whatever makes you happy. I'm a monster. I'm a bitch. I'm horrible. I'm a psychopath. I'm a narcissist. Okay. I know that. Like I know all these things. Like, now what? Now what? But it's not in our nature to be like, that's okay. Whatever you call me, I'm fine with it. We need to be liked. Why? This is an evolutionary thing, right? And we talk about the hierarchy of needs a lot. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or just any hierarchy of needs, because they're all structured the same way. As human beings, our number one need, food, shelter, clothing, right? The basics. Number two, the second thing we need the most, social inclusion. When we were cavemen, we had to have a tribe to survive. Now we don't need someone to go kill a woolly mammoth for us, but that is a genetic evolutionary leftover that has in many ways gotten stronger. We have to feel part of this social network. I mean, my God, they're literally called that. Social inclusion needs peak at adolescence, okay? This is when we're detaching from our parents and we're trying to find a new tribe. We're like, all right, our family's our tribe still, right? Or maybe we're realizing that our family is not our tribe, that our family is toxic. I have to take this off. It's just blinding us, like all holy objects. It's my name in Arabic. My friend got it for me, isn't it, Freddie? So social inclusion needs peak at adolescence. This is also when duplicity, lying, peaks, also when violence peaks. Teenagers truly are the most dangerous sector of the population because they're more likely to be peer pressured into like robbing a liquor store, mugging that Uber delivery guy, right? They're more likely to lie so that they can stay out late and be part of the social network of their tribe. So as we get older, this kind of evens out. If you're a healthy person, it evens out. We all know people who are adult criminals because they still need to be part of whatever weird tribe. That's a whole other separate story. So if you have this like need to be liked, don't criticize yourself for that, especially if you're an adolescent. This is simply how we're hardwired. We want to be liked. We need to be liked and loved. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not trying to tell you like, you don't need anybody to like you. Be a weird outsider. No. My friends are the most important thing in my life, by far. And you guys are the most important things in my life. Like if I'm in a fight with a friend or a guy rejects me, I'm like, well, I have all the shalligators. I have the shallongerage. If people are being shitty to me on the internet, I'm like, well, I have all my real life friends, right? So it's like we have to have multiple different tribes to fill ourselves up emotionally in that healthy, positive way. So I'm not trying to tell you not to do that. What I am trying to tell you is how to be your own tribe first and foremost. It's inevitable that there's someone out there who's not going to like you. There might even be more than one. There might be 100. There might be hundreds of thousands like there are for me. But you know what? At the end of the day, how much time do you actually have to spend interacting with people who don't like you? I mean, maybe you have to sit by them at school. Maybe they're harassing you. Maybe it's your mom. But however much time you think you have to spend with that person, that critic, you spend more time with yourself. You spend 24 hours with yourself. So who do you need approval from? This classmate, this boyfriend, this sister, this boss, or you? I learned this at a very young age. When I was writing for my school paper in college, I pioneered the sex column. It was called Sex in St. Louis. It was like when Sex and the City was really big. I was writing about like bikini waxes and Viber. It wasn't like, and then there was anal. Like I was a virgin. Like it was very like PG-13 stuff. But like the Campus Crusade, the Christians made t-shirts with my face on it with like a red bar through it, like a red thing. People call me a slut all the time. And I'm like, all right. But I worked to find a tribe that wasn't calling me that. I worked to find the tribe that did appreciate what I was doing. And moreover, I worked to find the tribe within myself. And I made a promise to myself when I started to write that, and this has been my mission statement as a writer and as a YouTube creator, I am never going to create something to please one person nor to protect one person. I am always going to work to please myself. This is crucial. And I'm going to tell you how to do this. So if you're looking to radically, or maybe not so radically, change, evolve, grow, drop out of law school, cut your hair off, start dating girls, whatever, it's more than just like, oh, people are going to talk shit about me. It's, I will be expelled from this tribe. Well, we're not cavemen anymore. And to be expelled from your tribe doesn't mean you're going to freeze to death and be eaten by wolves. It means you might eat lunch alone for a few weeks. How realistic is this feedback? Now, we've talked recently, we did a video on how to not be bothered, how to be unbothered, right? And we talked about it with Rihanna, how she just like doing whatever. We must get very, very, very granular about our fears. Most fears never actually come to pass. Someone described on the internet anxiety as fighting imaginary monsters in your mind. And like, that's exactly what it is. It's like our anxiety is keeping us not present and mindful. We're not living in the past. We're living in some hellscape of a future where everyone's going to laugh at us and our parents are going to talk to us anymore. It's just, we're fighting imaginary battles, right? That usually never come to pass. So get granular. Who really is going to say something about the change you want to make? I've told this story before. The car of people who judge. In high school, there was like this group of beautiful, popular kids, and they would carpool to school together. And my friend Diane was like, that is the car of people who judge. And they were. I mean, they were mean and judgy and gorgeous and popular, right? And to this day, when I'm like, oh, I want to put that video out there. Oh, I wish whatever it is, I'm like, the car of people who judge. In my mind, I'm localizing my anxiety literally on those exact people, like Jim, Tara, Leia. What? It's crazy. I don't follow each other, right? It's crazy. But that's the point. It's laughably silly. Just like a little kid who thinks there's a monster under his bed, what do you do with that kid? You turn the light on. Hey, let's get down. Let's look under the bed. It's an old sock and a Swiffer. And he's like, the sock and a Swiffer. And you laugh and you go to bed and you sleep peacefully knowing that you have dismantled whatever that crazy fear is. So get really granular. Billie, I think, is doing that. She is facing these critics head on. It's like, who the fuck who are you saying this? If it's my real fans, they're going to be here for the music. They're going to be here for my growth because hey, maybe they want to be a little sexy. Okay. So I'm just like marching a few miles down the road ahead of them, being an opinion leader for them, showing them that you can still be talented and smart and respectful and get your boobs out every once in a while. Dress up, try on different versions of yourself. It's really not that right? I try to be that for you guys. I try to be bold and brave. And I put this on my Instagram the other day, like, do you feel like you really live, And it was split 50-50. And we're going to do a video on how to feel like you're really living. But I was saying for me, because I feel like I live. High highs, low lows, adventure. But truly the galvanizing thing is bravery. I really pride myself on being a brave person. The things I say on here are brave. And people can shit on me for them. Honey, you're not doing it. So I'm out in front of the firing squad. You're sitting there, trigger fingers turned to Twitter fingers. Okay, Mom, bring me another hot packet. Okay. But it just goes to show no one above you is going to come for you. No one else who is living bravely, authentically, in alignment with themselves, experimentally, passionately, would ever look at someone else living that way and have something negative to say. Why? Because of social inclusion. We want a tribe. And bold people, they are risk takers. Leadership is risk in service of authenticity. This is my galvanizing phrase. Leadership is risk in service of authenticity. You are standing out in that bold ledge. Hey, we're not going to talk about people behind their back, okay? You know what? Graphic design school is not for me. Kind of want to be a lawyer. That guy's great, but sort of attracted to Kristen. Risk to be authentic. And one of the criticisms of Billie, it's like, oh, this is just all so contrived. Dude, first of all, it's her job. Jobs have to be contrived. Okay, I don't know if you know that, but like a successful career in literally anything from like owning a garbage dump to running for president has to be sort of pre-planned. It doesn't mean it's inauthentic. It just means there's a little bit more shaping there and a little bit more judiciousness with how things are rolled out. So shut up. That the argument is ridiculous. The argument's ridiculous. She's so manufactured. She's a fucking pop star, dude. But then these same people, when they encounter someone who is like super organic, I'm pretty organic. I'm unfiltered. I do whatever. Trisha Paytas, they're like, cancel. You're being inappropriate and offensive. Okay. So dismantle who these critics are and ask yourself two questions. Do I know them? Like, do I know them personally? People can call me whatever they want on the internet. If someone in my real life said that to me, I'd be like, you think I'm a psychopath? Really? I would listen because I care about them and there is a mutual understanding of respect, right? Or if you don't know them, are they on your path too? Are they in your lane? Is it another YouTuber who's coming for me? Well, they have. But like someone I respect saying something to me that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll listen. But it's like, well, I don't respect you and I don't know you and you don't know me or my brand. So, I'm just using this as an example because it's like my most recent experiences. But like, same. If some like chick at Target walks up to you, she's like, I don't like your hair color. It's like, what the fuck asked you, Linda? By the way, my hair color is different. I feel like my hair color is different in every single video lately. And it is because I was moving away from red and towards blonde. It's much lighter in real life. Do you guys like it? See, look, I'm asking for criticism and feedback. But I am staying in my alignment. Some people are like, you need to go back to blonde immediately. And some people are like, never leave red. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go somewhere in the middle because that's where I feel like right now. And it shouldn't affect anyone's life. Doesn't really matter. We're all good. But I've also been changing in other ways. As you guys follow me on Instagram, you notice I've gotten like more political, not political, but like I'm sharing my opinion about headlines and politics more. I'm a diehard Democrat. I will ride or die. Lately, it feels more like a die than a ride. I'm really disappointed with my party. I'm disappointed with the tactics of this revolution that seems to be about terrorism and oppression. And I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that. I don't care what faux altruistic reason you have. That's not okay with me. That's not okay. And I'm not going to pretend like it is. Sorry. People are like, I don't like Shallon's anti-leftist rhetoric. Then don't watch, dude. No one's forcing you to be here. You're cruising around Costco, eating free samples, and then kicking over the booth. Get the fuck out of my Costco. You don't like it. Whatever. So we've decided that you don't need to care about someone's opinions if you don't know them or respect them, right? You also don't need to care if you're actually localizing this anxiety about who's going to say what and judge you on people who either like literally don't care or they don't exist or it's not even relevant or possible. But what if it is? What if you're like, oh, no. My dad's going to care if I switch my major from engineering to English. He's going to care a lot. Okay, valid. There's a lot of opinions we're going to get that are pretty valid. Now I want you to ask yourself 2 more questions. Where is their criticism coming from? Is it coming from their own filter and parameters, or is it coming from a place of concern? I said before, our parents, their sole goal is to keep us safe. Safe, safe, safe. And that manifests in all sorts of ways. Don't wear something slutty. That can come from a place of, because I don't want you to get raped. I don't want people to think of you as anything but this like smart, beautiful little girl. I don't want people to think of you as a slut. That's also coming from their own filter that if you wear a skirt, you're a slut. Like, okay, but look at that. Shine the light under the bed on that monster and be like, what really does this mean? It could be like, hey, we just want you to settle down. That could translate to safety for them. She's going to be financially safer when she's married. She's got a man to look out for her. It's a cold world, right? So it could also be something like they have valid, genuine concerns. If you drop out of law school now, you're going to have $80,000 worth of debt and nothing to show for it. Or you could stick it out for a year and at least have your degree and pass the bar. That's valid. That's logical and it's valid and it's the advice that any neutral party would give you, right? Look at the feedback and ask yourself, am I only bucking against this because of who they are? Well, I don't want to listen to my mom or my teacher or my boyfriend or my friend. Well, maybe they have a good point. I've really endeavored this year to follow, like on Instagram, a variety of different like political sources. Like some stuff I'm reposting are from conservative sites. Some are from very liberal sites. It's like I'm trying to get a 360 scope of data. Do you know why? Because I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to change my opinion. Rigid people are the most dangerous people in society. They are. They're absolutely the most dangerous. They're unbearable. But I digress. So go back to like, what is this criticism? Is there a kernel of validity? Can I take it, maybe put it in my back pocket, give it a few days to percolate, and then look at it in a more neutral way? Whether it's, I date younger guys. Ew, why? Okay, well, why are you still married to your bitch ass husband? Right? I keep that to myself, even though that's my opinion. But like, I am in alignment. I'm doing what I want to do and I check in with myself constantly. But again, it's easy to say and think like, oh, well, all of my fears, they're just like imagination. They're monsters under the bed. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes the fallout from people hating you and judging what you're doing and having opinions is very real. It's very real. Maybe it means your parents are going to cut you off. Maybe it means you're going to get divorced. Maybe things are really real. Okay. Before you make these declarations or come out with the haircut or whatever it might be, I want your new motto to be this: hate is freedom. To be hated is to be free. When we are controlled by this pathological need to be liked, we're the least free person in the world. And I was like that as an adolescent. I mean, most of us are. We want to fit in. Goes back to those really significant social inclusion needs that do peak at adolescence. So we wear the things we think are going to make us fit in, like high-waisted jeans and crop tops. It's not flattering, girls. It's just, please don't do it. But where is the freedom there? Where is the expression? Where's the Billie Eilish transformation where she's like, that was me. I've decided to change. I'm growing up. I'm breaking out and I'm becoming free. All the words associated with that change are words of freedom. They're adjectives of freedom. Because what is confidence? What do we say about confidence? True confidence is not, I know they're going to love me. Real confidence is, I'll be fine if they don't. Because I love me. I am moving through life with alignment. And it's a constant, unending process. But it's also a really fun process. It's a process of being like, well, what do I like? Do I like a small town or a big city? Do I like law school or art school? Do I like this guy or that girl? And we get to constantly choose for ourselves. And what do we say about luxury? I've always said luxury is doing exactly what you want all the time. That's why I like to travel by myself sometimes. That's why I don't have children. I live in constant luxury, no matter what my surroundings. I could be at a hostel in Nepal. I could be at a Roccoforte hotel in Rome. I am in constant luxury because I am in a constant state of freedom. I am in a constant state of choosing what works for me. From the micro, Pepsi versus Coke, to the macro, New York or Montana. And therefore, when people hate me, that doubles my freedom. Because it's like, oh, that's right. Thank you for bringing this worst case scenario. You know, the worst case scenario, oh my God, people aren't going to like me. I'm going to be cast out from my tribe. The social inclusion needs are gone. It kicks up a lot of stuff for us evolutionarily. Thank you for bringing me a worst case scenario, because a worst case scenario is actually our best case scenario. It means, well, shit, here we are at rock bottom. And it also means we have the opportunity to look around that rock bottom and be like, I mean, it's not that bad. If I'm living in alignment, okay, nobody approves of me calling off my engagement. Nobody approves of me switching my major to English. But I'm in alignment. I know, this is what I should be doing. And I know that because I've been making those micro alignment decisions. Pepsi versus Coke, what hair color I want, right? When I practice making those micro alignment decisions, the big things come along and they're easier. We're not constantly asking for feedback. Well, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should do this? Look at this text, blah, 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 blah. That's cold-blooded animal behavior, right? We got to constantly get a source from the outside. We don't do that when we're alphas. We're living in alignment. We are inherently a warm-blooded creature. And so hate is never fun. Socially, of course we don't like that. But it doesn't disrupt our alignment in the same way as it would if we were cold-blooded. So here are some practical ways to get comfortable with a worst case scenario, and therefore with being hated, and therefore embracing freedom. Number one, a war map. I'm a big fan of a war map. So in any military history class you can take, military theory, whatever. So I took a bunch in college via ROTC. What do we learn? We learn to anticipate. The time to train your army is not when the other army is coming over the hill. You practice ahead of time, right? The time to figure out your strategy is not when that rocket has already been launched. You know it ahead of time. You know what your inventory is. You know where your strengths and weaknesses are. And you look at the worst case scenario. Okay, they breached that wall, then what are we going to do? Okay, they attack us from the sea. What's our plan? There's plans. So when I'm in like a war state, I had someone stalking me last year. 2019. Your time, right? Time means nothing. I had someone stalking me. And I went out and I visited my most warlike friend, and we made a war map. And we came up with all the possible scenarios of what could happen if this person did X, Y, and Z. I had ABC as a response from, she attacks me on my social media, okay? And I had to have someone else there with me because I was so anxious and so undone. I couldn't inhabit these mental spaces. It was too much for me, but she was able to do that. She was my general and I was a squatty. I was the soldier, right? And she's like, okay, if she posts something insane, your response, let's write it down. Your response is going to be X, Y, Z. And I want you to think about how it's going to feel when that happened. And I was like, no, you have to get comfortable with these kind of reactions. So it's muscle memory. Same with any sort of war. And if you think people are going to hate you for whatever you're doing, and I use hate broadly, right? Where any sort of negative feedback, mind map it. Okay, I'm going to come to school with blue hair. Worst case scenario is the guy I like is going to make fun of me. He's going to say, you look actually really ugly. You look like a crazy bartender named Lacey. How's it going to make me feel? Sick to my stomach. How else is it going to make me feel? Honestly insulted that he would say something like that. Okay. Do I think it's likely he'll say something like that? No, I don't think he would. Well, what if he does? Well, why would I like a guy who would say something like that to me? Aha, here we are. So the reaction for that behavior is, I don't like this dude anymore, and I block him on Snapchat. Okay? Okay, my dad's going to freak out when I tell him I changed my major. Okay, what's he going to do? He's going to cut me off financially. Okay, so what's our plan? I'm going to cancel that bachelorette trip to Miami. I'm going to pick up more shifts at work, and I'm going to learn how to support myself so that I can make my own decisions. There you go. I'm not saying that these conclusions you're going to come to are easy. They might be very difficult. They might require huge life shifts. Sometimes living in alignment does. And sometimes moving through life in the face of hate and criticism definitely does. But what is leadership? Risk. Risk in service of authenticity. Not something easy in service of authenticity. Risk. You're a risky bitch. I know that you are. Billie was risky to do that cover. I mean, I think she looks fantastic, good for her, but you know that felt like a risk, as evidenced by everything she talked about in the interview was anticipating what people were going to say about her. We see in real time her war map, right? She's saying, people say this is my response. You want to say that to me? This is what I have to say back to you. She did it. So I want you to go through and write down, bring a friend, be like, you're my general here. Because this is a war and I can't do it. And they'll be like, okay. They're going to look at the situation dispassionately and neutrally, probably far more effectively than you might. And they might just be there to hold your hand. So that then when that worst case scenario does befall you, that guy's like, you look like a crazy bartender. You're like, you know what, Tyler? I've seen your dick pics on Snapchat and they're not impressive. You look like a shrimp from under the sea. Goodbye. You already inhabited that bad emotional space. You paid up front. Nothing to worry about. You already are there. You're the soldier slithering under that barbed wire, no problem when the time comes, because you practiced. We think we have to practice good things. We also kind of have to practice dealing with bad things too. And we don't want to, we don't want to, but we're just doing ourselves a disservice. And then we live in that anxiety, because anxiety is the what if. All right, bitch, what if? Let's do it. You want to sit here and spiral all day? Let's fucking go. Get a piece of paper, write that spiral down, dismantle it or inhabit it and be like, you know what, the worst case? Maybe not even that bad. Because then the freedom kicks in. I've talked before about how my life radically changed for the better when I got divorced. And I don't mean this like, I'm getting rid of my husband. No, he's the most wonderful person in the world. He always will be. I mean it changed for the better because my worst case scenarios arrived. I lost everything that I thought I was going to lose. Money, my identity as a wife, the concept of my future, the love of my life. I lost it all. It all happened. Everything I was afraid of came to pass. And you know what? I was still there. I remember having those moments. I would stop. I would just be like, this is awful. My life is in shambles. And then I'd be like, there'd be this voice inside me and be like, is it? I mean, you still have your friends, you have your health, you have your job, you live in a fantastic city, God is still on the throne, your tits are perky. And more than that, girl, you're in alignment. You know that this was the right call. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah. And I kept putting one foot in front of the other. And after that, I became bulletproof. I became a savage for myself. That's when this channel took off. That's when I was like, no, I want to be a YouTuber. I am not going to go through something like this again where I don't listen to my alignment and it ends in absolute mayhem. I'm going to listen to me all the time. Getting canceled last year had a similar effect. You think if someone had told me, hey, people are going to make a bunch of hate videos about you and call you horrible names, I'd be like, well, I don't want that. But when it happened, I was like, have I lost any in real life friends? No. Have I lost my health? No. Have I lost God on the throne or my perky tits? No. Have I even lost my actual real fans? No. But you know what happened? Ooh. See, getting canceled is like surviving the plague. You can't get it twice. And all it does when you try to silence someone who isn't afraid of you, they just get louder. They just get louder. Sorry about it. But now I'm louder than ever. I'm ballsier than ever. I'm freer than ever. Because it's like, what do you got? What else you want to say? You already called me a pedophile on the internet. Like, okay. Like, do you really think, what other possible word could you come up with? Like murderer? Okay. Honey, the day ain't over yet. Don't cross me. But like, seriously, it's like people have thrown their worst at me and it's like, well, I'm still here, man. So sorry about it. Better luck next time. I don't know what to tell you, but I know what to tell myself. Now the fun begins. Was it fun going through that? No, of course not. Who wants to be hated? Social inclusion needs, right? But when I was there, when I was in that, I was asking God why, not like, why? I mean, maybe once or twice, but I was like, okay, well, why? Like, why am I here? What am I supposed to learn? Because this is the motto. You never lose, you win or you learn. This is Nelson Mandela's life motto, and it's truly the most incredible phrase I've ever heard. I never lose, he said. I win or I learn. So if you don't feel like you're winning, what are you learning? And if you don't feel like you're learning, how are you winning? It's going to be one or the other, because otherwise you're like, I'm just losing. Okay, victim narrative. How interesting is this? Where is this getting you? Nowhere. Billie could look at her cover and she could focus on the backlash. Oh my God, everyone's calling me a sellout. She's not. She's embracing it. I'm learning. I'm winning. I'm growing. I'm in alignment. I want to know your guys' thoughts on Billie Goat. I think she looks fantastic. She looks fantastic because she looks happy. And if she was on there wearing a hefty bag with a rope and that's what tickled her fancy that day, great, girl. Who cares? Do you? Yeah, tell me your thoughts. And like I said, join me in Tulum. I would love to connect with you guys. IRL, it's so fun. I had fans come last time and we're all still super close. It's amazing. So click the link in the bio to apply. I'll see you next time, Shalligators.